Well, welcome back to another episode of Two Blokes, a Beer and a Podcast. I'm Joey, and of course, Craig is with me. Craig, how was your weekend, mate?
Good, Joey. Thank you, mate. Happy Father's Day. It's been a great day here, cracking weather, and mate, loved it. Spoiled by the kiddies.
Yes, mate, of course. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there as well and all our
Yep.
listeners as well. Hope you had a wonderful day. Speaking of Father's Day, mate, I have a great idea for today. Let's talk a little bit of father and son combinations in the NRL over the years. And, a few come to mind when you talk to me. Obviously, Steve Morris, and of course, the
Yep.
boys, Josh and Brett as well. And, all play for the Dragons and then all play for the Roosters. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
incredible stuff there. There's a few Kevy Hastings and Jackson Hastings, another one that played for the Roosters as well. But what are some that come to mind for you?
Oh, being a Balmain boy, I suppose. Wayne Pearce,
Yep.
obviously his son being Mitchell Pearce, and I remember years and years ago, Mitchell making a comment about winning the grand final, and how it took some pain away from his dad, after he
Yeah.
never got one in his career. So, yeah, that's probably one that jumps out to me. And then you got Matty Johns and the Johns boys coming through now as well.
Of course.
There's a few great ones out there. The
There,
Walkers,
yeah, the Walkers.
Liam
The
Walker
Walkers is a
playing
really
now.
good one.
Is he Ben Walker's son, I think?
Sam is Ben's son. Yeah.
Ben's son, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. He's going good.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah, some modern ones, definitely. What was the other one I saw the other day? There was a big Roosters thing on it because we had like our obviously being Father's Day, they showed a few Roosters ones. I think the Ricketson boys as well. I think Luke Ricketson and I think his dad played a little bit as well, which I
Yeah,
didn't
right.
know. Yeah,
No, me
so
either. Me
yeah.
either. And his teammate, Cronulla coach now, your old player,
Craig
Fitzgibbon.
Fitzgibbon. Yeah,
His old man played for Balmain in the '69 grand final, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. That's
Might be
right.
Alan
And
Fitzgibbon, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
you certainly don't see that. One that's closer to home for me, Mick Ouchin, Mad Mick, his name was. He played for the Roosters, and his son Michael Ouchin also played for Eastern Suburbs as well. So, yeah, he was
Yeah,
one.
right.
And then I'm pretty sure his other son, Jason Ouchin, he played for Balmain and Parramatta in the 80s. He was a fullback for Balmain. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
the other
So,
one jumping out, which makes me feel a bit old, is Preston Campbell and Jaden Campbell. Only
oh,
because I saw
yes.
Preston's career unfold, and
Yep.
now his son's playing in the NRL, and it's just not a nice feeling. So,
Another one that we saw this week too, Tristan Saylor, of course, played for the Bronx, and we know his dad, obviously the Dell, played for the Broncos and the Dragons later on, and then the Wallabies too. So Tristan, he killed it this week. He did really well for the Bronx.
he sure did. And on that note, Joey, I'm going to pour myself a brewski. I haven't
What
had
have
one
you
for
got? What have you got,
Oh,
mate?
mate, I've still got lingering around. It's a hazy IPA. It's a
Oh,
Chur Brew Company, so it's another Cheers Brew.
Joe Brew,
It's another
another Kiwi Brent.
it's another Kiwi beer, but I'm just going to do the old pour into the old faithful
Have a look at
Balmain
that.
cup. Actually, I've got
Oh,
a funny story about
beautiful.
Balmain Tigers, Joey. I was part of a Balmain Tigers Live Forever Facebook page,
Yeah.
and they just get on there and bag the absolute shit out of the West supporters. And I sit there and I bite my tongue every time, but then somebody bagged out the female referee, which
Uh,
congratulations. It was an amazing achievement. It was the West Tigers game.
very
She
good.
refereed as a solo ref. And there was people on there bagging them. So I couldn't bite my tongue. I got on there. I wrote this mega post and then basically said, you could stick to the page. I'm out. You're a pack of whingers. So yeah, no longer part of the Balmain Tigers Live Forever Facebook page, but who knows? There might be another one out there that I can jump on.
There may be, mate. Speaking of beers, I've got a Canadian club today. Old Faithful Canadian club. Love a good
Nice,
Canadian.
yeah.
It's CC
Oh,
and dry, so we'll just hear the crack
nice.
of that. Oh, beautiful. And Canadian club, always a good drop. We're not sponsored, but if you want to get around this Canadian club, we're here. So let's have a quick sip of that.
Happy
Oh,
Father's Day right there, hearing that sound.
happy Father's Day. That's absolutely beautiful. Let's more talking about Father's Day again. Let's chat about coaches and sons that played. So there's been a few as well that we see at the moment. Obviously,
Yeah.
Ivan Cleary and Nathan Cleary is a big one. Of
Successful one.
course,
Yeah.
yep,
Yep.
of course, Sir Walters as well. Kevy Walters and his son Billy plays for the
I
Broncos now. Brad Arthur and Jacob Arthur.
was about to say
Yep.
Arthur. Yeah.
Is
And
there any that come
obviously,
to mind for you that you remember? Even maybe some older coaches and their sons also played a bit of first grade.
you had Bob Fulton and his son Scott Fulton, I think,
Yep,
maybe back in
yep.
the 90s. That jumps out to me.
And was Liam Fulton Scott's son?
Or was it Liam Fulton? Maybe it was Liam.
I
Oh
think
no,
Liam.
sorry, no. About West Tigers player. No, I'm not
No,
sure if there was a connection there, but definitely not a
right.
son.
Yeah.
Um,
So
no,
say that
I've
could
got
have
no
been three
comment.
generations.
The only other player, non-coach related, but father and son combo is the famous Sattlers.
Well, yeah, that's
John
right.
Sattler and Scott Sattler, both grand final winners.
Yep.
And yeah, just wanted to mention those ones quickly. But going back to the coach side, I can't really think of any more off the top of my head, to be honest.
There's a
There must
lot
be more.
now than there's ever been,
Yeah.
isn't there? I mean, we look,
Yeah.
three of the current teams in the Broncos, well, not the Eels anymore, as Arthur's at Manly, but three of the current teams did have that. We had the Parramatta Broncos and Penrith as well. And yeah, they're really interesting there that they had three coaches, obviously, their sons playing in the league. Brad Fittler, his son Zach, actually plays for the Roosters under 20s. So let's see if he could
Right.
crack an origin spot eventually. He could be coached by his dad as well if Freddie continues the job. But, mate, I want to chat this week. Now, for those that listen along, Craig is a massive Tigers fan. Season's over, mate. Season's over. Let's do a quick what rating would you give the Tigers for 2023?
Oh, two out of 10, and I don't even know what the two is for. The two goes to Appy.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets a zero. I mean, there's only the West Tigers can finish last one season and do worse the next year.
Go
And how that
down.
happened is because they went from 16th to 17th because they brought a new team in the comp. Couldn't happen to any other club but the West Tigers. But mate, enjoying watching the females team run around. I'm loving the passion energy they're bringing. So hopefully they'll finish off the year pretty high. But yeah, going back to the Blokes team, mate, I'm not even looking forward to next year, Joey. Even the last 12 years, I start the year with a bit of hope, a lot of optimism, but I'm just, yeah, mate,
Did you
excited to watch.
end up? Sorry, did you end up watching a chick flick at all after half time in that Manly game?
No, I didn't. No, I had
No
the
chick
kids
flick.
and no chick flick. But I think what did we do? Because that was the first game.
Yeah,
Oh, I think
Friday night.
we just had it on in the background while we were playing a board game or something, mate. But yeah, weren't paying a lot of attention to it. But
yeah, of course.
that's it. Brooks's career's over. So
It's
yeah,
done. Barbecue at
and
Brooks' place.
He's barbecue at Brooks's place, and to his credit, he never ever lost a semi-final while playing for the Tigers. That's glass half full view of it.
Very good.
The reason why he never lost is he never played one semi-final for the West Tigers, which is definitely the glass half empty approach.
Let's talk about. Obviously, that gift was a bit strange. The barbecue for Luke Brooks. Have you seen anything like that in rugby league in the past, where players have been given a farewell gift of that caliber?
Joey, I don't have a lot to say, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I haven't.
I haven't
And
seen it either.
what he's on close to $1 million a year, and they gave him a $600 barbecue. White had to be presented out on the ground in front of 488 people that rocked up to watch them play is beyond me. Surely they could have done that at training. They could have done that in the shed. Why do they have to make something? And if you are going to make a big deal about it, that's when you bring out the framed, poster of him or something with all these milestones on there, which everything he's succeeded at, which isn't a lot, but you at least put it in there in big bold text just to feel the print. But the barbecue was very weird. Apparently had his name engraved on it, so you can add an extra $22 to the price there. But there
you go.
Very weird, mate.
Yeah, certainly. All right, well, that's it about the West Tigers. I just wanted to get your little view there
Let's move on.
before we head into season 2024. A couple of teams obviously going off to Bali. We're down to 8, mate. We're down to 8. Finals footy is on our doorstep. Now, talking finals footy, let's chat about some classic finals games that we have seen over the years. Now, there have been some absolute beauties. Now, one for me, 2010, mate, Roosters and Tigers. You remember it
I was
well.
there, mate.
Ray Finasta field goal, 33 metres out on the sideline. Oh, mate, was there
I
anything
was
great?
there.
I mean, as a Tigers fan, not so good, but to hit it
Mm.
from that angle and from that far out, incredible stuff.
I was at that game, Joey, and yeah, that was hard. We had to play St. George the next week to get
Yeah.
into the GF, and I think they did us by a field goal. And we were just out of puff. So yeah, golden point. That field goal, I think it's one of those things that if he has the opportunity to do it 5 more times, he probably doesn't get it once. It was just in the moment, and
Yeah.
mate, I remember just driving back to Canberra either that night or in the morning. It was horrible, but take away the Tiger, as you say, it was just another one of those great semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. There's obviously a lot of great finals clashes through the 80s and early 90s as well.
Mm.
Uh, you know, lots that just stick out to me, but what are some that stick out to you from that time period?
Oh, if you go back to I know I'm going back a fair while, but if you go back to the late 90s, Bulldogs versus Parramatta.
Oh, yeah.
Parramatta were a red hot team back then. They were beating the Bulldogs by, I don't know, I'm going to say 20 points. I don't know what it was, but Bulldogs just in the last 10 minutes just come back, try after try after try after try, forced it into not golden point, extra time back then. So you had to play the amount of minutes on each half, and they just ran away with it. And then they ended up being done by Brisbane in the grand final. But that was definitely one that jumps out to me.
Some absolute
Uh,
classics. I find that with finals footy, it's like the competition starts again. Teams just, you get the most
yeah.
out of teams, and they just want to, right their wrongs, so to speak, that they had in the season. But yeah, continue, mate.
No, that's all right. And the other one I was going to say is your Mob versus South last year.
Yeah,
Uh, that
yeah.
was pretty brutal.
Tell you what, it was memorable. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was certainly memorable. Simbin Sunday, and look, Roosters in the same boat this year. But well, that's the Tuesday night. We're not going into that yet because you can call me the guru later. I did predict it 6 weeks ago, but that's okay. No worries.
Ah,
Uh,
double
but
plug.
yeah, little plug there. You know, we've spoken about some amazing runs recently of teams, and we spoke on that last week. I think about the Knights. They're now done 9 in a row, and they're looking at 10 straight coming into finals. I mean,
And a
that's an
home
incredible
semi.
run, a home semi, and now this is a team that you and I have both been around for a bit in the rugby league world, and the Knights. Everyone loves the Knights because it's a small town. The town gets behind them, and everyone just wants to see them do well. They're the Aussie battler. They're always been the
Yeah.
Aussie battler, and it is so good to see Newcastle at the moment. I've got a bit of Knights fever myself. I mean, if Penrith don't go back to back to back, I'd love to see Newcastle or the Wars get there. Obviously, now that the Roosters are in finals, I'd love the Roosters to get there. But Newcastle, I would love to see get another grand final. It'd be incredible. But let's uh let's talk about those runs. So we obviously saw this big one from Newcastle, and we've seen some over the years. We chatted a couple of weeks back about. I was telling you about the Roosters when they won the season. Then the following season they lost a whole year. But it's incredible how a run like this can just change a team. The team's dynamic. Adam O'Brien looked to have been sacked from the Knights before they went on this run.
10 weeks ago.
10 weeks ago, he looked like
10 weeks
he
ago.
he was out the door, and then all of a sudden, Newcastle had kicked into gear. They've won 9 in a row, and he's almost coach of the year. I mean, if we're
About to
looking
get
at
a
the
5-year
past,
extension.
that's right. Let's actually talk on that. Let's talk about some coaches, and I don't know if you remember any from back in the early 90s, but coaches where it looked like they were all done, and then they've gone on a run like that, or they've won a grand final, and then they've just all of a sudden coach of the year. But do you remember any like that in the past, or is this relatively new?
Geez, I'm not too sure. I
Yeah,
remember Michael Hagan, who won the 2001 grand final with
yeah,
Newcastle Knights. There was a lot of speculation about bringing him in. I remember that at the time. I remember Ricky Stewart there was a lot of criticism with him taking over the Roosters in 2002 in his first year.
Yeah.
He obviously finished his career well known for playing at the Raiders, finished his career playing for the Dogs, and then he stayed there and he coached their under 21s team or whatever it was, and he had great success. And then Gus got him over to the Roosters. I remember there being a lot of criticism around that for the fact that he still played with the likes of Brad Fittler and
Yeah.
others in the team he actually played in the same team with, and didn't know if he'd be able to have that seniority over the players. And I remember watching a doco between Fittler and Stewart where Stewart said to him, I'm going to have to make an example of you at training just to get respect from the others. And also, I would say pre-stage, but the moment Freddie didn't toe the line, Ricky did what Ricky does well and just absolutely sprayed him.
Yeah.
And then they won the grand final. So they're probably two of the ones that I most remember. I do remember Mick Potter coming over, ex-West Tigers coach, coming over from the UK with great success, and great things were said about him. And we were off to a very, very slow start. And everyone said, don't worry, they're one win away from turning this around. But it never happened.
Wasn't it?
Didn't happen, Joey. Didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Wasn't 2005 the Tigers' year? Didn't they look all but gone, and then all of a sudden they went on a bit of a run too, didn't they?
So Sheensy took over in 03.
Yeah.
And I remember in 04, we missed the semi-finals by one game. We had to beat Newcastle in Newcastle the last round to make it. Didn't do it. 2005 season, we got done by Parramatta round one, and the media was out. Sheens is part. You can't do it. What are they going to do? We lost a couple of games, fluked a couple, but then, like Newcastle have just done, bang, we were paying back then $151 to win the grand final. Mate, all over it, Joey. I had a 20 on it at the start of the year, as I did every year, and I got that through. But, yeah, there was a lot of pressure on Sheensy at the start of that year.
Yeah, it was very similar with the Roosters 2013. Obviously, Robbo, brand new coach, had only done a handful of games in the NRL and then in the Super League, mainly coached in the Super League. But came over, took over the Roosters. Obviously, it had a bit of turmoil after Brian Smith and Brad Fittler and those sort of guys. And took over, and we lost our first game, 2013 as well. And everyone went, okay, the writing's on the wall. Ended up winning the minor premiership and the grand final in his first year, and then went on to win consecutive minor premierships, 2013, 14, and 15. So incredible stuff, mate. Just been having a bit of this Canadian club, and this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I always love a Canadian club. They say it's like if you don't feel like drinking beer, you drink a Canadian club.
Yeah, and it's nearly Canadian club weather too, mate. Beautiful.
It is, mate. It's absolutely beautiful outside. We're on the Central Coast for Father's Day, and it was so nice down there at Terrigal, mate, right on the beach.
Lovely.
Beautiful weather. The Rooster girls were down there. I think they stayed in Terrigal over the weekend, obviously playing. I think they played at Gosford. So, but yeah,
nice.
It's it's been really good. Let's chat on the women's game for a little bit. It's, as you said before, it's been really good viewing, and I have been just really impressed with the performance. The main thing for me, the goal kicking. It's something that I didn't think would be as good watching the women's game, but some of the goal kicks that I saw, Jocelyn Kelly
from
the Roosters, she's the halfback. She kicked 7 from 8 today, and it's been really good viewing, mate. What do you made of the women's comp?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it, Joey. I love how quickly it's taken off, and it's the NRL's done a great job of getting behind it, but you have that sort of question like, where has this been for the last 50 years? Like, why has it taken this long? But that's sort of negative, I suppose, looking back. But where it's at now, I'm loving it. Seeing the excitement of the current female groups now that are watching this thing evolve on social media. You get the best seats in the house to watch it because you can see their personal profiles like you can with the blokes in the league, and just seeing their excitement and passion that they're bringing to it is because it's new for them as well. So, and I think actually going to the on field, there's not as much sports science, Joey. There's not as much overthinking. It's not a full-time job. It's just they're playing out of the love for the game. And it reminds me of rugby league back in the 80s and the 90s and even in the 2000s, before it got too full professional, where they would work, they would go, and they just play out of the simple enjoyment of the game. And that's what the Women's Rugby League brings to me. They're just playing because of the love of the game. And they go bloody hard, and they deserve all the success that goes their way.
Yeah, they do, mate. We fully support the NRLW. Now, next thing I want to touch on today, I don't know if you saw in the Titans and Doggies game, but Reed Marnie, mate, got a falcon to the head and it knocked his headgear off. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. Poor Reed Marnie. I mean, can't catch a break. He seems to be in the media all the time, but yeah, got ball hit him in the head. His headgear came off, and I thought it was great. Have you ever seen a falcon like that you've just cracked up, mate? Falcons are hilarious.
Oh, poor Mario Fennick. That's where it all began. Poor,
Oh,
poor
the
Mario.
Falcons.
Jogging off that day, playing for South Queensland Crushers, probably the
Yeah.
worst year of his career at the end of it, and jogging off, and some numpty just passed the ball straight to his head. And all these years later, it's still referred to as the Falcon.
Oh, it's so good.
It's absolutely hilarious. Oh, there's been so many over the years.
Yeah.
Some of them that make me cringe is where they go to put up the big boot and it's a charge down and it
yeah.
in the face and it bounced down. But there's been some classics where they jump up for it, go to take the bomb, and they've just misjudged it altogether and smacked them fair in the face. But
there was actually two this week in the Roosters Souths game. After Billy Smith scored, he went off and threw the ball and it hit the security guard in the head. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. I saw the highlight of that on the footy show.
He got the Secchi right in the head. The Secchi sort of didn't know what to do. But, mate, the Falcon, I absolutely love it. But poor Reed Marnie, I mean, he got a Falcon right to the head. His headgear just popped off. And I went, oh, it just capitulates the Bulldogs season for me. But, yeah, mate, Falcon's absolutely hilarious. Yeah. And talking of Mario Fennick, I mean, what a legend of the game. But let's go to the footy show, and we obviously love the moments with Mario and Robbo, the pest that Robbo was. But Mario, I just felt like they always took the piss out of Mario, but Mario never understood. It was like he never caught on to what they were doing. It was so funny.
Yeah. Mate, yeah. We spoke about it at the start. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we kicked this off, was really talking about the footy show, and then we had to add other stuff to it because we couldn't just talk the footy show. But absolutely classic. The Mario segments, just the things that they would do. And then throw in Robbo and a few other characters, and then later on when it evolved with the Chief and Matty Johns just took it to a whole other level. And
absolutely.
It's no coincidence when Channel 9 booted him that the show started to go downhill. Yeah, and it's no coincidence that he's got his own footy show programmed, multiple shows on Fox right now, and absolutely killing it.
Yeah, they're doing really great. Mate, what's on for the week? You got work this week?
Work this week, Joey. Big week. Blokes Walk and Talk official podcast start recording this Wednesday, mate.
Wow, awesome.
I'm interviewing the Shadow Minister of Mental Health. I've got ex-Canberra Raiders captain Terry Campese on there as well. They all start recording this week, mate. So pretty exciting.
And get around that, BWNT on Facebook and Instagram if you haven't yet. Had a look, check it out. Craig does some great work there with the Blokes Walk and Talk, mate. Big week. I got work. It's September now, so only I think it's about 110 days till Christmas, my favourite time of year. So Michael Bublé defrosting as we speak, mate.
When you say only 110 days, that frightens me a little bit. But mate, I'm ready for the warm weather and the sunsets.
Can't wait. We got a bit of, obviously the cricket's been on, the T20s in South Africa as well. Been loving that. Mitch Marsh, the Bison, mate, absolutely killing it at the moment. But can't wait for the summer of cricket too. But finals footy, mate, I am just so excited. I love finals footy, and it's the time of year where, as a supporter, you're extremely nervous. You want your team to do well, but you also you can't handle them losing. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do for these next few weeks. I'll probably be on the edge of my seat, and I'll be cringing a little bit. I wouldn't know,
Joey. I wouldn't know, mate. But yeah,
I feel
for you. Sounds like a horrible situation to be in. And just to correct you, when you say you don't know how you'll go over the next few weeks, mate, you've only got another week, and then you'll be out of misery, mate. So you'll be all good, mate.
Look, I don't want to speak ill of any team, but it's going to be down Cronulla next week, mate. So we'll have that win and head through. But I think that's about it for this week. Let's have a last sip of this.
Cool, mate.
This is wonderful.
I've got a mouthful of hazy IPA, and then it's a bit more time with the kiddies to wrap up Father's Day.
Beautiful.
It was actually funny. I've got a funny one for you. I could hear the kids this morning jumping around on my bed, and I just knew it was one laughter away from being someone in tears
Ah,
or someone hurting someone. And so I went in there and I said, what are you doing? Maybe it wasn't in that voice, but it was, what are you guys doing? Like, someone's going to get hurt. And
yeah.
they were doing like WWE wrestling on the bed, which I don't know where it's come from. So I've gone from don't do that, someone's going to get hurt, to, hey, if we do it this way, I can pretend to choke slam you, and then you can use this as I'm like a child, Joe. I swear. I reckon we do that for about an hour and a half, just
we
wrestling.
we definitely don't endorse that on children. Obviously,
No, no, no,
play
no, no.
responsibly.
All fun and games.
When it's your own
Everybody.
kids, it's all right. I do the same thing. I think they've been watching the Bulldogs, mate. Obviously, they've been in a bit of trouble for wrestling lately, so they've probably been watching the
Oh,
Canterbury
yeah, at
Bulldogs.
training,
But
yeah.
and training. But yeah, mate, that's about it. Obviously, enjoy your beer. To you, the listener, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. Craig's here. I'm Joey. Tune in to Two Blokes, a Beer and a Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, Under the Ruck Infringement. We also have our own page now on Facebook. Check it out, Two Blokes, a Beer and a Podcast. We'll be dropping this episode, our reels as well, so check them out. All right, Craigie, have a great night, mate. Remember, be good to
Cheers,
your
mate.
mum.